He says he doesn't want commitment, but he can't stay away from you. You've already noticed the pattern. He disappears, then messages you as if nothing ever happened. He says, "I'm not ready for a relationship," but he always comes back. And each return breaks your heart in two. One half wants to believe this time will be different. The other half knows it's walking on shattered glass again. What you don't know is that there's a hidden path Jung discovered about male psychology, a secret that completely changes the game. Today, I'm going to reveal something that will forever change the way you understand that man who can't commit but also can't let you go. Neuroscience has recently discovered what happens in the male brain when he says, "I don't want anything serious, but I want to see you." It's a contradiction rooted deeply in his unconscious. You're caught in this cycle because you don't know the secret code that unlocks what he truly feels. Most women make a fatal mistake at this point. They follow the path of anxiety, demands, desperate silence, and end up pushing away exactly what they wish to attract. But you're not like most. Something inside you already knew there was another way. That's why you're here now. You feel like there's a hidden truth in this situation, don't you? A truth that goes beyond what he says with words. His body tells a different story. The energy between you whispers secrets his rational mind tries to deny. What I'm about to reveal is ancient knowledge that aligns perfectly with the latest discoveries about the male brain. This knowledge is so powerful it can completely transform the dynamic between you without him even realizing what's happening. There's a deep reason why he can't walk away from you, even while saying he doesn't want commitment. And when you understand this reason, a new path will open. A path where you reclaim your power. A path where you no longer need to suffer in uncertainty. Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, discovered that when a man says, "I don't want anything serious, but I want to see you," he's experiencing a deep split within his psyche. And it is in this split that his potential for transformation lies. What I'm about to share with you is not for just anyone. It's knowledge reserved for women who are ready to transcend the common game of love and step into a deeper level of understanding. The question is, are you ready to see beyond the illusion? Are you ready to understand what's really happening when he says those contradictory words? If so, get ready. What comes next will change everything. Before continuing this journey of discovery, I want you to do something powerful right now. Write the word truth in the comments. This is not just a simple action. It's a declaration to the universe that you are ready to receive this wisdom. When you write truth, you activate something deep within yourself. You're telling your subconscious that you're ready to see beyond appearances. Do it now. Write truth in the comments and keep watching. What comes next will reveal the hidden patterns that keep you both trapped in this circular dance and how you can finally take control of this situation. Have you ever felt that tension in the air after he says he doesn't want commitment, yet still sets a date to see you? That suspended moment where your heart beats a little faster, where your intuition whispers that there's more going on than his words suggest. This is the exact point where the visible meets the invisible, where the conscious meets the unconscious. Jung discovered something fascinating about the male psyche. When a man says, "I don't want anything serious," part of him truly believes it. It's his conscious mind speaking. The part that fears losing freedom, that is afraid of commitment. But there's another part, a deeper part, that keeps pulling him back to you. Neuroscience shows that the male brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, when he's close to a woman he's attracted to. This chemical creates a physical need for closeness that directly contradicts what his conscious mind is saying. That's why it feels so confusing, because it is. Inside him, there is a silent war between what he thinks he wants and what his body and soul truly desire. And it is in this inner battlefield where you have more power than you realize. Have you heard of Jungian theory about the anima? It's the feminine energy that exists inside every man. It's the part of him that longs for connection, intimacy, and union with the feminine. When a man meets a woman who awakens this anima, he feels a deep calling that he can't explain rationally. It's as if you're holding up a mirror to a part of him that has remained hidden. A part he himself doesn't even know exists, and this terrifies him deeply, because finding that part of himself means confronting his own vulnerabilities. It means facing ancestral fears encoded in the male DNA. The fear of being consumed by the feminine, the fear of losing his identity, the fear of not being enough. These fears aren't rational, they're primal. They come from a time when male survival depended on autonomy and strength. When he says he doesn't want anything serious but still wants to see you, it's the echo of those ancient fears. It's not about you. It never was. It's about the battle within him. Most women react to these words with pain and frustration. They try to convince him to change his mind, try to prove their worth, or walk away completely, believing they're not enough. But all of these reactions come from the same place, a lack of understanding of what's really happening. You see, when you react with anxiety or distance, you only confirm his fears. You become exactly what he dreads, a threat to his freedom, or someone who will abandon him when he needs you most. A vicious cycle that keeps both of you trapped in a painful pattern. But there is another way, a way that Jung discovered while studying ancient religions and sacred union rituals. The priestesses of the past understood the power of polarity. They knew how to dance with masculine energy without trying to capture it or flee from it. They understood that the secret is not to fight against masculine nature, but to honor it while standing firmly in their own feminine essence. Modern neuroscience confirms this ancient knowledge. When a woman remains centered without reacting with anxiety or withdrawal, she creates a safe space where the man can explore his own vulnerability. Have you noticed how, in certain moments, he seems more open, more connected to you? Those rare moments when his defenses drop and you can glimpse something deeper in his eyes. In those moments, you're witnessing his soul waking up. You're seeing beyond the mask he wears before the world. And that is where true power lies, not in trying to change what he says, not in convincing him of your worth, but in being the one who sees beyond his words, who understands the internal struggle he's facing. Jung wrote that the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. This transformation doesn't happen through words or arguments. It happens on an energetic level in the sacred space between you. That's why this knowledge is so powerful, because it operates beyond the conscious mind, beyond the defenses he has built. It works directly with the part of him that already feels the connection with you, that already knows there is something special between you, the part that keeps coming back, even when his conscious mind says he doesn't want a commitment. Think about it. If he truly didn't want anything with you, he would simply disappear. Men are very simple in this regard. When they're not interested, they don't stick around. The fact that he keeps coming back, wanting to see you, is already a silent confession that something within him is deeply connected to you. The question now is, how do you respond to that silent confession? How do you honor that part of him that is struggling to emerge while respecting your own desires and needs? How do you create the space for this transformation to occur, without forcing, without pressuring, without dimming your own light? The answer lies in what Jung called the confrontation with the shadow. Not your shadow, nor his, but the shadow that exists between you, the unspoken fears, the unexpressed expectations, the hidden desires. When you learn to navigate this shadowy territory with grace and wisdom, you become not only irresistible to him, but also to yourself. Because this process isn't just about winning his heart, it's about reclaiming your own emotional sovereignty. It's about freeing yourself from the cycle of anxiety and disappointment that has drained your energy and dimmed your natural light. It's about remembering who you truly are, a woman with the power to transform, not through force or manipulation, but through presence and deep understanding. A woman who doesn't need external validation because she knows her own worth. A woman who understands the mysteries of the male heart better than he does himself. This is the woman he unconsciously seeks when he returns to you. This is the woman who holds the power to transform "I don't want anything serious" into something far deeper and more meaningful. And this is the woman who, regardless of the outcome with him, will find her path to the kind of love she truly deserves. When a man says he doesn't want anything serious but still wants to keep seeing you, he is, without realizing it, asking to be transformed. I'll say it again because it's essential that you understand. He is asking to be transformed, not with words, not consciously, but on a deep, archetypal level. He is searching for something that can only be found through this apparent paradox. Jung discovered that the process of individuation, the path to becoming a whole human being, often involves contradictions that seem irreconcilable. It is within these contradictions that growth occurs. It is in the space between opposites where the alchemy of transformation takes place, and that's exactly what's happening when he says, "I don't want anything serious, but I want to see you." He is standing on a threshold between fear and desire, between the past and the future, between the boy and the man. Neuroscience shows us that the male brain is wired to seek the unknown, to explore beyond safe boundaries. It's an ancient programming that dates back to the time when men were hunters and explorers. At the same time, the male brain is also wired to seek the safety of the tribe, the home, the connection, to return with what he has discovered and be received. These two programs may seem contradictory, and they are, but they are also complementary. That's why he pulls away and comes back. That's why he says he doesn't want commitment but still seeks your presence. He's trying to integrate these two parts of himself, and you, unknowingly, have become the sacred ground where this integration can happen. But here is the most powerful revelation. You don't have to be passive in this process. You don't have to wait for him to sort out his internal confusion in order to have what you want. You can actively create the space for this transformation while holding firm to your own boundaries and desires. How? Through what I call magnetic presence, a state of being that combines feminine receptivity with unwavering clarity. When you're in a state of magnetic presence, several things happen at once. First, you see beyond his words. You understand that "I don't want anything serious" is just the voice of fear speaking. It is not the whole truth. Second, you honor your own desires without shame or apology. You know what you want, and you express it, not through ultimatums or manipulation, but with calm authenticity. Third, you create an energetic field between you where transformation can happen naturally, without force. A space where he can explore his vulnerability without feeling threatened or judged. And fourth, and this is crucial, you remain completely unattached to the outcome. This last point is the hardest for many women because we've been conditioned to tie our self-worth to the outcome of our romantic relationships, but it is precisely this detachment that creates the space for the miracle to happen. When you're not desperately trying to turn "I don't want anything serious" into a commitment, you paradoxically become more powerful. You become the embodiment of the sacred feminine who does not chase because she knows how to attract. This is what the ancient tantric texts called Shakti, the creative, feminine energy that doesn't force but invites, that doesn't demand but inspires, that doesn't chase but magnetizes. And it is this quality of Shakti that awakens in a man his natural counterpart, Shiva, the conscious masculine who knows how to commit without losing his essence. In practice, this means that when he says, "I don't want anything serious, but I want to see you," you respond not with anxiety or resentment, but with calm clarity. "I understand that you're not looking for a commitment right now. I also value our connection. And at the same time, I'm a woman who eventually desires a committed relationship. I'm open to exploring this connection without pressure, but also without closing myself off to other possibilities that are more aligned with my long-term desires." This response does three powerful things. First, it shows that you've listened and respect where he is. This creates safety. Second, it clearly communicates your own desires without making them dependent on him. This generates respect. And third, it establishes that you are in charge of your own life and choices. This creates attraction. Because here's a truth that neuroscience confirms. The male brain is biologically wired to be drawn to women who are a worthy challenge. Not a challenge in the sense of games or manipulation, but in the sense of being someone he must rise to meet through his own growth. When you position yourself as a woman who knows what she wants and accepts nothing less, you activate ancient circuits in his brain, those of pursuit and conquest. You become not the easy prey or the impossible mountain, but the valuable prize that requires him to become his best self. And here is the final secret, the essence of what Jung discovered in his studies of transformation myths. When a man meets a woman who sees both his greatness and his shadow and remains unwavering in her presence, he finds not just love, but a path home, a path to the parts of himself he had abandoned, a path toward the integration his unconscious is desperately seeking. This is the most precious gift you can offer, not just your love, but the mirror in which he rediscovers his own heart. When you do this, "I don't want anything serious" begins to dissolve naturally, not because you fought it, but because you created the conditions for him to discover what he truly wants. And more often than not, what he discovers is that the commitment he feared isn't a prison, but a portal to a deeper freedom. A freedom that can only be found through true connection. Remember, your job is not to convince him to want commitment. Your job is to create the space where he can discover for himself that commitment with the right woman is not a loss, but an immeasurable gain. When you do this, you're not just transforming the relationship, you're engaging in an alchemical process that transforms you both. Regardless of the specific outcome with this man, you will have reclaimed your power as a woman. You will have remembered that your worth does not depend on anyone's validation or commitment. This is the true victory, not manipulating someone into wanting what you want, but being so centered in your truth that you naturally attract experiences that reflect your true value. This is the wisdom Jung uncovered. This is the science that neuroscience confirms, and this is the art that wise women have practiced throughout time. What I've just revealed to you is not merely a strategy, it's a complete paradigm shift in how you exist in the presence of a man who is torn between the desire to be with you and the fear of commitment. Now we're going to dive deeply into what this revelation means for your life, for your heart, for your future. When you embrace magnetic presence and understand the truth behind "I don't want anything serious, but I want to see you," you're not just transforming a specific situation, you're transforming your relationship with love itself. Think of all the times you've suffered because of a man who couldn't or wouldn't commit. Remember the sleepless nights, the tears, the vital energy drained trying to figure out what was wrong with you. Now imagine releasing all that suffering. Imagine understanding the male psyche so deeply that his words and actions no longer have the power to shake your center. This is the gift of the wisdom I'm sharing with you. When you understand that "I don't want anything serious" is just the voice of fear speaking, not a comment on your worth or attractiveness, you reclaim the power you once gave away. You stop interpreting his actions as a reflection of your value and begin to see the truth, that his actions are a reflection of his own inner journey, his own wounds, his own fears. This shift in perspective is profoundly liberating. Suddenly, you are no longer at the mercy of his decisions. You are no longer waiting for him to change so you can be happy. You become the author of your own experience. And here lies the beautiful paradox. When you take this level of responsibility for your own happiness and well-being, you become magnetically attractive, not just to him, but to all forms of abundance and love. Because the energy you radiate when you're centered in your own worth is irresistible. It is the energy of the woman Jung called Sophia, the embodiment of feminine wisdom, who doesn't need to prove her worth because she knows it intimately. In practice, this means that when you encounter a man who says, "I don't want anything serious, but I want to see you," you have three powerful options. First, you can accept the situation as it is without expecting it to change, finding joy and growth in the moment-to-moment experience, knowing that you are choosing this consciously. Second, you can set a clear and loving boundary, communicating that you desire a relationship with potential for growth and commitment, And while you value your connection with him, you choose to make space for someone more aligned with your desires. Third, you can intentionally create the transformative space I've described, neither clinging nor running away, staying fully present with total clarity about what you want, while allowing him to make his own journey toward clarity. Each of these choices is powerful because it comes from a place of emotional sovereignty. None of them arise from fear or lack. And this is the fundamental shift, moving from fear-based reactions to wisdom-based choices. When you make this shift, something incredible happens. The energy between the two of you changes. The dance changes. He senses, even if he can't articulate it, that something is different, that you're no longer playing by the same old patterns, that you're operating from a new level of consciousness. And because human beings are naturally drawn to higher states of awareness, what Jung called expanded self-awareness, he feels inexplicably more drawn to you. Not because you're using tactics or playing games, but because you're vibrating at a frequency that resonates with the part of him that also longs for growth and transformation. That's why so many women report that when they finally let go of the need to have a specific man, he suddenly reappeared in their lives, often with a new openness to commitment. It's not magic, it's deep psychology, confirmed by neuroscience. When you release the energy of anxiety and attachment, you create space for new possibilities to emerge. You break the cycle of chase and retreat that keeps so many couples stuck in painful patterns. But, and this is crucial, even if he doesn't return or doesn't change, you win anyway. Because you will have reclaimed your life energy, your peace, and your trust in your own intuition and wisdom. And these are the real treasures, treasures no one can take from you. With these treasures intact, you will naturally attract experiences and relationships that reflect your inherent value, that honor your desires, and that contribute to your growth instead of draining your energy. This is the true victory that Jung discovered in his studies on psychic transformation. It's not about changing the other person, but about becoming so whole within yourself that you naturally attract complements, not substitutes for missing parts of you. Imagine what it would be like to live this way, without the constant anxiety about what he's thinking or feeling, without the emotional roller coaster of hope and despair when he appears and disappears. Imagine the energy that would be freed for your dreams, your projects, your life's purpose. This is the gift you give yourself when you truly understand the dynamic of, I don't want anything serious, but I want to see you. And respond not with the old strategies of anxious attachment or defensive avoidance, but with the new awareness of magnetic presence. Neuroscience shows us that when we release fear-based emotional patterns, our brain literally forms new neural connections. We begin to operate from a different place. We make different choices. We attract different experiences. It is as much a biological transformation as a psychological one. And although this transformation begins in your relationship with this particular man, it eventually spreads into all areas of your life. You begin to approach your work, your friendships, your health, your finances with the same clarity and sovereignty. You become a woman who knows her worth in every context, not just in romance. A woman who knows how to say yes to what nourishes her spirit and no to what dims her light. A woman who understands the power of sacred polarity between the masculine and the feminine and knows how to dance with this energy without losing her center. This is the woman Jung envisioned in his studies of powerful feminine archetypes across cultures and history. This is the woman that neuroscience confirms is operating from a more integrated level of brain function where intuition and rationality work in harmony, not in opposition. This is the woman that every part of you already knows you can be. And this is why this revelation about how to transform I don't want anything serious, but I want to see you is so profoundly meaningful. Because it's not just about winning a relationship game, it's about remembering who you truly are. A creator, a transformer, a bearer of wisdom, a woman who understands that true love never comes from clinging or chasing, but from being so fully yourself that those who resonate with your frequency are naturally drawn into your orbit. And those who are not ready for that resonance naturally find their way out of your life. Without drama, without struggle, just with the calm recognition that paths are parting for now. This is the ultimate freedom. The freedom to be yourself and to allow others to be who they are, knowing that perfect alignments don't happen by force, but through natural magnetic attraction. This is how you win. Regardless of the outcome with this specific man, this is how you receive the hidden gift within the apparent paradox of his words, and this is how you honor Jung's wisdom and modern science, which both confirm what wise women have always known, that the path to becoming truly irresistible is to love yourself first, completely, unconditionally, and without reservation. If this message touched something deep within you, if you felt a recognition in your soul as you read this, don't keep this wisdom to yourself. Share this video with a sister, a friend, any woman who might be going through this painful situation right now. Because the suffering that comes from not understanding male psychology is unnecessary. And together we can elevate collective consciousness on how to create relationships that nourish instead of drain. And if you want to go even deeper into the art of magnetic presence and masculine attraction, watch the next video that's appearing on your screen now.